When we talk about delivery services, there's no doubt that FedEx is on top of our list. But did you know that the brand didn't start as the courier company we know today? Initially, the company planned to pick up checks from the 12 Federal Reserve banks in the United States, fly them to a central hub, and then make sure that the checks got delivered to the Federal Reserve member banks the next day. But that is only the tip of the iceberg. There is a lot more to this story, so let's dive right in. This journey began in Marks, Mississippi on August 11, 1944, when Frederick Wallace Smith was born. He was the younger of two sons, named after his father, an entrepreneur and businessman, who established the very famous Dixie Greyhound bus lines, which was later a part of Greyhound Bus Lines. When Fred was only 4 years old, his father died. Fortunately for the family, his dad had made enough money and saved up to ensure his family, which now consisted of a wife, two sons, and two daughters, would live a secure life. Now, this is something not many people know about Fred. He suffered from Calvé-Perthes disease, a rare type of childhood arthritis of the hips caused by a temporary lack of blood supply to the joint. He spent most of his early years using crutches and wearing braces to keep his hip joint sockets stable. As the years passed, he refused to give up. He battled his way out, and finally, at the age of 10, he outgrew the disease. Fast forward a few years, and Fred was making his way in Memphis University Prep, where he took part in several sports and excelled academically. During his time there, he became fascinated by the American Civil War. Fred's real love, though, was aviation. So by the age of 15, he started to learn the ropes by working a crop duster, and it didn't take him long before Fred earned a reputation as a capable amateur pilot. Another field that piqued his interest was business. Growing up, he wanted to start something new. His business journey began back in high school when he and a few of his friends started a small recording studio, Ardent Record Company. What began as a project later grew into a company bringing in a profit. That's pretty impressive for a high school student. As high school went on, their business grew. And it wasn't until 1962 that Fred left Memphis to attend Yale University, where he studied economics and political science at Yale. Unfortunately, he became more interested in campus social events, and he never really paid attention to academics. However, one incident during his junior year stood out as the seed of an idea that would later drive Fred to success. One day, he wrote a term paper for an economics class where he presented a business proposal that would guarantee overnight delivery of small, time-sensitive products to the major United States cities, like replacement parts or medical supplies. Surprisingly, it didn't do well. His professor, unimpressed, gave him a C. But Fred knew there was potential behind his idea, and he would find a way to make it a reality, even if it would take him years. He earned his bachelor's degree in economics in 1966 and joined the U.S. Marine Corps soon after. During the Vietnam War, he was sent overseas as second lieutenant to serve in Southeast Asia. He served in Vietnam for 2 tours before enrolling in flight school and flying over 200 ground support missions. He was later honorably discharged as a lieutenant in July 1969, receiving several awards including a Silver Star, a Bronze Star, and 2 Purple Hearts. Being the enthusiast he is, Fred wanted to revive the concept he wrote about in his economics paper when he returned home in 1970. His desire to make something was fueled in part by his experiences in Vietnam. "I got so sick of destruction and blowing things up that I came back determined to do something more constructive." Now, Fred started his new company by buying a majority interest in Arc Aviation Sales, an aircraft repair company run by his father-in-law at the time. By 1971, he had broadened its reach, shifting the company's emphasis from aeroplane repair to buying and selling used corporate jets. Even though the company managed to make a whopping $9 million in revenue that year, seeing profits for the first time, Fred wasn't satisfied. By this time, he had formulated a well-thought-out plan to bring his concept to life while maximizing his resources. He had expected to work for the Federal Reserve System on a contract basis, transporting, processing, and rerouting checks. His business strategy called for a fleet of planes to pick up shipments and fly them to their destinations. And to avoid federal shipping restrictions, he also made sure the company owned a few ships. The planes and cargo would be flown at night when air traffic was light, and the packages would be dropped off at a central location or hub to be sorted. The packets will then be routed to their destinations within 24 hours using both ground and air transportation. With the plan set, Memphis was chosen as the hub city. He could see the picture clearly. He even claimed it would save the nation's banking system an estimated $3 million a day. Though many doubted his statement, Fred was determined to see the plan through and climb the steep path ahead. The company needed a large sum of money to fund the aircraft, pilots, and insurances. Fred also had to develop a logistics system that could connect any 2 points around the country and ensure that packages moving back and forth were delivered within the promised 24-hour window, something that had never been attempted before in cargo delivery. While Fred was unable to persuade the Federal Reserve that his proposal would succeed, he continued to spend money on an extensive advertising campaign to convince investors. He also found that package deliveries did not have to follow the most direct route to their destinations by combining air and ground transportation as long as they arrived within 24 hours, which was a brilliant move. Finally, Fred, then 27 years old, founded the Federal Express Corporation on June 18, 1971. In addition to his own $4 million inheritance, he had $91 million in startup funds from venture capitalists. So by 1973, he was ready to go, and Federal Express launched service to 25 cities with a fleet of 14 jets and many buses. Despite being the most heavily funded new company in United States history in terms of venture capital, the company lost money in its first 3 years of service. Fred didn't expect this, but he didn't give up. His work finally paid off when they grew to handle over 19,000 parcels a day, making their first profit of $3.6 million in 1976. Shortly after deregulation, Federal Express purchased 7 Boeing 727 aircraft, followed by the acquisition of the Boeing 737 aircraft. In 1977, the company increased its profits by $8 million on $110 million in revenue. IBM and the United States Air Force, which used Federal Express to transport spare parts, were among the company's 31,000 loyal customers. Federal Express went public in 1978, allowing it to collect funds for further expansion. Now, it wasn't until 1994 that the company rebranded as Fedex, the name we know today. And in 1997, Fedex had 120,000 workers worldwide and delivered 2.5 million packages a day on average in 211 countries and territories, making Fred one of the world's 400 wealthiest citizens. Today, FedEx currently has over 700 planes, making for the largest fleet in the world. The company handles around 19 million packages every day and 125 million tracking requests. Fred stayed strong in the face of fierce rivalry and financial setbacks. His success derived from his ability to comprehend evolving market needs and the significance of factors such as the internet deregulating trade and changing business practices. Fred, by all accounts, was a boss who made an effort to be open to his staff. He was known to come late at night to the Memphis location, greeting many of the employees by name. Fortune magazine ranked him 26th among the world's 50 greatest leaders in March 2014. If you enjoyed this video, consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons. It does wonders for the YouTube algorithm, so more people can see our videos and so that you can be notified when we launch our next video. We try and put out at least one new one per week, and as you can imagine, the research and editing alone of these type of videos takes us close to 18 hours. So we would really appreciate it if you could also check out our Patreon. For just $1 a month, you can support our work. We produce over 12 videos per month, so that is literally 8 cents per video. Thank you so much, and we'll see you at our next unmasking.